What kind of snake is this? Find out this week on the Nature Center YouTube channel. Hi everybody, Jason here, and you may have noticed a slight difference in the intro. We're making some changes here on our YouTube channel to kind of reflect where we are. When I first started doing this in 2020, we were still just Calgary reptile parties, doing reptile shows and programs. And since then we've actually changed. The reptile parties business still exists, but both the business itself and what we've done with this channel has really changed and evolved. We're not just about reptiles. We now have the YYC Nature Education Center down in Calgary, which we'd love to have you come visit if you're coming to Calgary or if you live in Calgary. And that doesn't just have reptiles. And even over the last couple of years, as we've been creating videos, we've had videos with from whale watching, we've had videos from Africa with animals like elephants and hippos and all sorts of different mammals. We've had videos with birds of prey, videos with parrots and things like that. So it made sense to not just sort of be the reptile parties anymore. So now we're the Nature Center, and this is our first video under our new kind of moniker and new focus. Still gonna have lots of reptiles, lots of reptile information, but we're gonna have other animals as well. And as we continue to go out on adventures and explore the world, we'll have different videos with some non-reptilian things. But with that in mind, we're gonna go back to our roots, and our first video under this new kind of banner is about reptiles, namely this reptile. So when we show people this particular reptilian creature, people go, oh, that's a snake. This is not a snake. This is a European legless lizard. So there's actually several different species of legless lizards found throughout the world. This one specifically in parts of Asia and Europe and Russia specifically. And so then people are like, well, what's the difference? Well, I can give you some examples of the differences. So not only do we have our legless lizard here, but let's compare him to one of the most commonly kept and popular choices for a pet snake, the ever popular and ever wonderful and ever messy corn snake. So this is our albino corn snake, Fieldy, who you can actually see in a video right here when we did a video chat with Korn, the band, and Fieldy met Fieldy, the bassist for Korn. He is named after him, but also because they live in fields. So, how are these guys different? Well, to start off with, their heads. So, he doesn't do it a lot. We might not even get it. We might get some footage here of them blinking, but legless lizards do have eyelids. Not all of them do, but most of them do. So he can blink. Snakes do not have eyelids. They cannot blink, they cannot open and close their eyes. Looking at the lizard, there's a little hole on the side of his head. That is an ear opening. Snakes don't have external ears. Their mouths are very different as well. So snakes, of course, are famous for their ability to eat larger meals, to be able to stretch out their jaw and swallow their prey whole. These guys can't do that, so they have to chew their food. Even when we do give him something occasionally like a pinky mouse, he's going to chew that up and swallow it. He doesn't swallow it whole. These guys will also eat all sorts of different insects, snails, small vertebrates like lizards, so a much broader variety with the legless lizards than the corn snakes that primarily are going to be eating rodents and occasional birds. Now down the side of the legless lizard is what's called a lateral line. So snakes don't have that. That kind of allows them to extend themselves. And then one of the main and biggest differences, people will say that snakes are all tail. They're not. In actuality, and corn snakes have a longer tail. The tail ends here. So just that, or starts there. So behind my fingers is the tail. The rest of it is all body. The legless lizard, tail starts there. So more than half of their body is in fact tail. They also have the ability to drop their tail, which snakes cannot do, which is why legless lizards have been also given the nickname glass lizards, because the tail will fall off and break apart in pieces. And it doesn't really shatter like glass, but it kind of looks like it shatters into several pieces, which then wiggle around. Now, of course, this is not an uncommon thing among reptiles, among lizards. Lots of geckos, skinks, and other animals can also drop their tails. These guys tend not to. So legless lizards are more likely to try and flee. They'll hiss, they'll bite, they'll kind of bluff strike. Putting a corn snake away is hard. But they are not going to drop their tail unless absolutely necessary, because it does take a really long time to grow back. Now, unfortunately, most legless lizards do come in wild caught. A lot of times they have damage and scars. We can actually see some scarring on this lizard. Is there a place for wild caught in terms of people having reptiles? Yes. Is it with little Timmy, 8 years old, getting his first pet lizard? No. There has been some progress made in captive breeding with European legless lizards, especially in zoos. So hopefully that'll start to switch over and they'll be able to successfully breed them. But that is not sort of what the current situation is in terms of getting these guys. So unfortunately, they do come in wild caught. And it is something that is kind of difficult for me to balance out when I'm doing these videos or doing our educational programs, because I do feel that, like, as much as possible, wild animals should stay in the wild. At the same time, all of our exotic animals had to start from the wild, even things that are commonly captive bred like corn snakes. So I kind of wrestle with it in terms of like the export business and some of the damage that can do in animals that don't survive. Legless lizards are pretty hardy, so they typically do survive shipment, but I would rather see a future where our animals are captive bred, and that means working with wild-caught species to establish captive bred programs. That's also going to help in the future in case animals do become endangered, which these guys are not, to try and ensure some genetic diversity, be able to re-release them back into the wild. So with that in mind, legless lizards I don't recommend as a pet because of being a wild-caught thing. They can carry parasites and other challenges. They're remarkably intelligent. They can, if they can escape, they will, and they can figure out where they escaped before. If you fix that, I've seen legless lizards go back to the spot that they escaped from before and try and worm their way through or push their way through. So a very smart lizard, very underappreciated, and legless lizards are just cool. So this is a lizard that looks like a snake. And we did a video with these guys on scaled, and I saw a whole bunch of comments from people saying like, oh, well, no, it's a legless lizard is a snake. Like, even though the entire point of the video was explaining the differences and how they're not, people just chose to be ignorant. So there is genetic differences or physical differences. Just because a reptile does not have legs does not mean that it is a snake. So I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about the legless lizard and seeing the comparisons between them and the corn snake. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell. You'll get lots of information from us, notification on when we get our new videos. We've got a lot of cool themes coming up in the next month. And hit that like button because that always helps. And another great thing to do is share. Sharing these videos helps us grow our channel. We just recently hit 10,000 subscribers, so thank you so much for everyone that has subscribed so far and made this channel grow to where it is. We want to keep growing, and you're a big part of that. Another way you can support us as well is on Patreon. So we do have a Patreon, the Reptile Parties, and we have $3, $6, $10 Canadian and a $20 Canadian option for membership every month. That gives you first look at our YouTube videos. It gives you a lot of behind the scenes content. You're guaranteed at least one post plus a YouTube video per week, and then all sorts of other bonuses. And if you live in Calgary, that's actually our membership program to the Nature Center, so you can get that info and get discounts on merch and programs at the center as well. So check all of that out. All of our info is down below on the Nature Center on Reptile Parties. Thanks for checking this out, and we'll see you next time.